I noticed it in the quiet before I ever said it out loud. The way we stopped reaching without meaning to. You still sat close, but something felt distant, like there was a space neither of us knew how to cross. I kept telling myself this would pass, but it stayed. We were a love that turned cold, not all at once, not in a single moment, just slowly losing its warmth. I kept trying to find what we used to feel, but every time I reached, there was less of you there. You started speaking softer, like your words had less weight, and I started holding back things I used to say freely. We became careful in ways we never were before. Two people protecting something that was already fading. Sometimes love doesn't break, it just changes until it's unrecognizable. We were a love that turned cold right in front of us, still together, but not the same. I tried to stay close to what we had been, but you were already somewhere else inside yourself. I don't think we meant to lose it like this. No anger, no one to blame, just time and all the things we didn't say. Now all I feel is what's left behind, a quiet memory of something that mattered, and the slow realization that we didn't fall apart, we just became a love that turned cold. I don't remember a goodbye or the sound of a door, just the way things felt, a little quieter than before. You were still there, or at least I thought you were, saying the same words in a voice that felt further away. I kept moving forward like nothing had changed, while something already had. I didn't see you leave, not in a way I could name. You were right beside me until you weren't the same. I kept talking, kept reaching for you, but somewhere in between, you slipped out of us. Looking back now, I can see the signs, the pauses that stayed too long, the things you stopped sharing. But at the time, it felt like nothing. the small moments I didn't hold on to. Maybe I trusted that we were stronger than that. I didn't see you leave, even when you were fading. I held on to your presence long after it changed. You were already gone in ways I couldn't feel yet, and I was still standing there, believing we were okay. I wish there had been something clearer than silence, something I could have faced instead of this slow understanding. Now all I have are pieces of before, moments that feel closer than they should, and the quiet truth that I only understood after everything. I didn't see you leave. I thought if I was patient, things would find their way back, that whatever felt distant would slowly return. You never said you were leaving, not in a way I could hold, but I could feel something shifting. I didn't know how to stop. I kept trying to fix what I didn't understand. You were a heart I couldn't keep, no matter how carefully I held on. I tried to be enough for what we used to be, but something in you was already changing, and I was still loving who you were before. I started questioning everything, small things I used to trust, the way you answered, the way you stayed quiet. I told myself not to overthink, not to make it worse, but silence has a way of telling the truth slowly. I didn't lose you all at once, just piece by piece. You were a heart I couldn't keep, not because I didn't care, but because love sometimes moves without asking. I kept reaching for you in the same ways, while you were already pulling away from them. I wish I had known when it first started fading. Maybe I would have held you differently, or maybe it wouldn't have changed anything. You were a heart I couldn't keep, and that's the part that stays. Not anger, not regret, just the quiet feeling that I gave you everything I knew how to give, and still you slipped through my hands. I didn't notice it at first, just small shifts in how you stayed. You were still there, just a little less present. Your words still sounded the same, but they didn't land the same way. And I kept telling myself nothing was wrong. It's hard to see something ending when it doesn't break all at once. Your love faded slowly, so slowly I tried to ignore it. I held on to every moment like it might come back. You were still beside me, but harder to reach. And I didn't know how to hold something that was already slipping away. I remember the pauses more than the conversations. How silence started lasting longer than anything we said. I asked if you were okay, you said you were, but I could feel the distance growing between your words. Sometimes love changes before we can admit it. Your love faded slowly without a clear goodbye. Just less of you in the places you used to be. I kept trying to find what we had before, but every day there was less left to hold. I don't think you meant to let it disappear. Maybe you felt it too, but neither of us knew how to stop it. Your love faded slowly until it was almost gone, and I was still standing there, holding on to something that didn't feel the same. Now all I'm left with is the quiet realization that I stayed long after your love had already left. I don't think about the ending the way most people would. I don't go back to the last words or how we walked away. My mind stays somewhere earlier, in moments that felt easy, before everything started changing in ways we couldn't explain. Maybe it's easier to hold on to that version. I remember us better than we were at the end. I still see you the way I used to, before the distance, before the silence, before we became two people trying to pretend. And maybe that's unfair, but it's the only way you still feel close. There are small things I keep without meaning to. The way you used to listen like nothing else mattered. How everything felt like just having you there. It's strange how those memories stay untouched, even when the truth looks different now. I remember us better than what we became. Not the quiet, not the space between us, just the version that felt like it would last. I know it's not the whole story, but it's the part I can still hold. Maybe I should remember how it really ended, the distance, the things we stopped saying. But something in me keeps going back to when it still felt real. I remember us better, and maybe that's how I let go. Not by forgetting, but by keeping the pieces that didn't hurt as much. So when I think of you, I don't feel the ending, I just feel who we were before we changed. I heard your voice tonight, not in the room, just somewhere in my memory, where everything still sounds the same. I tried to say your name out loud, but it felt strange, like speaking to someone who already left. There's a quiet in the air now, I don't know what to do with it. We said we'd be honest right to the end, but the truth came out so quietly. And that was our last goodbye. No storm, no breaking sky, just two tired hearts standing still with nothing left to try. You looked at me like you already knew love had run out of time, and somewhere between your silence and mine, we said our last goodbye. I keep thinking maybe I missed something, one small moment where I could have held you closer. Maybe love doesn't leave all at once, maybe it slips away, one quiet night at a time. Now your side of the story is just a memory that won't answer back. We promised forever so easily, like it was something we could keep. And that was our last goodbye. No tears, no asking why, just two shadows in the dark, letting go of what we tried. You looked at me like you already knew there was nothing left to save, and somewhere between your silence and mine, we watched our love fade. I hope someday your laugh comes back the way it used to. I hope someone hears the things in you I couldn't hold on to. And if you ever think of me, I hope it's gentle, not heavy. Just a quiet place where we once were. That was our last goodbye. No anger, no blame, just two broken pieces learning how to walk away. first I stayed behind, trying to breathe through the night. And somewhere between the love and the loss, we reached our last goodbye. I still hear your voice sometimes, soft like a door closing slowly. You packed your things like it was just another evening. No anger, no heavy words, just careful hands closing zippers, avoiding my eyes. I kept waiting for you to stop, for something in you to change its mind. I thought love would fight harder than this. I didn't know it could leave so softly. And now there's a heart left behind, still learning the shape of your absence. I walk through the silence like it might explain something. You took your future with you without meaning to. And I'm here, holding the pieces that still say your name. A heart left behind. Your shadow used to move through this place like it belonged here. Now even the air feels unfamiliar. I say something sometimes before I remember. You're not here to answer. It's strange how love can fill every corner, and then suddenly there's space everywhere. We didn't break in one moment, we slowly stopped reaching. And now there's a heart left behind, still listening for footsteps, still expecting the door to open again. You carried the light with you when you left, and now I'm here, learning how dark a memory can be. A heart left behind. Maybe someday this won't ache the same way. Maybe your name will just be a sound, not a weight, but tonight it still feels close. Like if I turned around, you might still be there. There's a heart left behind, trying to forgive the silence, trying to believe love meant something. You walked away gently, like you didn't wanna hurt me, but somehow that made it harder, because now all that's left here is a heart that never followed. You left quietly, and somehow my heart stayed with you. Mm-hmm. talk about the future like it was already waiting for us. Quiet plans spoken late when everything felt possible. You would smile like you could see it clearly, life just ahead of us. I believed you, I believed all of it. But somewhere along the way the words got softer until we stopped saying them at all. Now they're just dreams we couldn't keep. Small promises that slipped through our hands. I still remember how real they felt, like we were already living them. But love changed slowly without asking us, and now the only place they exist is somewhere between who we were and who we had to become. Dreams we couldn't keep. I still catch myself thinking about the things we planned, not because I expect them to happen, just because for a moment they made life feel certain. You were part of every picture, every road, every quiet morning, and I never thought I'd have to imagine those days without you. We didn't lose everything at once, we just stopped believing the same future. Now they're just dreams we couldn't keep. Half-finished stories that lost their ending. I hold them carefully even now, like they might still mean something. But love doesn't stay just because we want it to, and the life we once imagined has slowly faded into something I can only remember. Dreams we couldn't keep. I hope somewhere you're finding new plans, new reasons to smile the way you used to. And maybe the future is kinder to you than the one we tried to build together. They were dreams we couldn't keep. They were dreams we couldn't keep. Soft hopes we held too tightly. I still hear them sometimes in the quiet, like distant echoes, not asking to come back, just reminding me the ones we believed in something beautiful. And for a while that was enough. You used to speak my name like it mattered, like it carried something warm. Now it sounds different when you say it. Careful, distant, like you're already somewhere else. I keep replaying the small moments, trying to find where the change began. Nothing shattered, nothing broke out loud. Love just grew quiet between us. Your love turned cold, and I felt question on mine. The way your voice lost that softness. I kept reaching for you even when I knew you were already letting go. Your love turned cold. I remember when we couldn't stop talking. Every thought, every little feeling. Now our words feel borrowed, like we're speaking out of habit. Not because we still mean them. And I wonder if you noticed it too, or if I was the only one holding on. We didn't fall apart loudly, we just stopped finding each other. This was temporary, that love doesn't disappear so easily. But your eyes stopped searching for me, and the truth settled in. Your love turned cold. Before we're ready to admit it, your love turned cold, and I felt the distance. Even when you stood beside me, I tried to hold on to who we used to be. But memories don't keep people here. So I finally stepped back and let the silence say what neither of us could. Your love turned cold. And somewhere in that quiet, I realized mine never did. I reached out in the dark without thinking, the way I always did. For a second, my body forgot that you're not here anymore. The quiet answered first before my mind caught up, and I just stayed there, hand in the air, feeling a space that used to be you. It's strange how the heart remembers what the world has already changed. And I'm here with empty arms tonight, holding nothing but the shape of you. I keep thinking if I stay still long enough, maybe love will find its way back. But the room says otherwise, and every breath reminds me that some goodbyes don't echo. They just leave empty arms tonight. Your voice still lives in the quiet parts of me, small things I can't turn off. The way you laughed when something surprised you, the way you said my name when you meant it. I didn't know those little moments would become the things I miss the most. We thought love would stay steady, like something time couldn't touch. Now I'm here with empty arms tonight, reaching for memories that can't reach back. I keep replaying the last look you gave me, trying to understand when it changed. But love doesn't explain itself, it just leaves quietly. And suddenly there are empty arms tonight. Because mine is still here, learning the weight of holding nothing. And I'm here with empty arms tonight, not asking you to return, just trying to accept what love has become. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it fades, sometimes it leaves us standing in the silence with nothing left to hold but the memory of how it once felt tonight. My arms remember you, even if you never come back. You said it so easily that night, like it was something time could never touch. Your voice was calm, certain, and I believed you without asking twice. I carried those words with me through every quiet day, never thinking they would fade. But promises are fragile things. Sometimes they disappear without a sound. Now I'm standing with a promise you forgot, something you once meant but couldn't hold. I still hear the way you said it soft, like forever was simple. And maybe you didn't mean to let it go, but I'm the one still holding on to a promise you forgot. I don't think you meant to hurt me. It wasn't sudden, it was slower than that. Little changes, small distances, moments where your heart was somewhere else. And I kept telling myself love just needed time, but time was quietly carrying you away. We didn't break apart loudly, we just stopped protecting the things we said. Now I'm left with a promise you forgot, words that once felt certain. I still remember the look in your eyes when you said you wouldn't leave. Maybe you believed it then, maybe we both did, but I'm the only one still hearing it. A promise you forgot. I wish I could erase it, not the love, just the moment you made it sound eternal. Because some words stay longer than the people who spoke them. So I'm letting go of the promise you forgot, not because it meant nothing, but because it meant too much. I carried it long after you stopped, and now I'm learning how to breathe again without waiting for those words to become true. You may not remember, but I do. stood there for a moment, like you were deciding how much of me you were about to leave behind. I remember the way you looked at the floor, like it was easier than looking at me. And I kept waiting for you to say something, anything that might stop what was happening. But silence can make a decision too, and that night it did. When you walked away, something in me stood still. I watched the space where you used to be, like it might change its mind. I wanted to call your name, but the moment felt fragile, like even one word would break it completely. So I stayed quiet while the person I loved walked away. The room felt different after you left, not empty, just unfamiliar, like every memory had shifted slightly. I tried to move on with the evening, but every small sound made me think you might come back. It's strange how hope can linger long after the truth arrives. When you walked away, I didn't follow, not because I didn't want to, but because I understood something you couldn't say. Your heart was already somewhere else, and love shouldn't have to chase someone who's leaving. So I stayed and let the distance grow with every step you took. I still wonder sometimes if you felt it too, that quiet pull between staying and letting go. Or if by the time you turned, you had already said goodbye in your heart. When you walked away, it wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, just a slow ending, two people standing on opposite sides of something that used to hold them together. And in the quiet I realized love doesn't always end with anger. Sometimes it ends with footsteps and the sound of someone you love getting farther away. I still catch myself starting to tell you things before I remember you're not here. Little moments that used to be ours, now they just disappear. Your name almost leaves my mouth sometimes, like my mind hasn't learned the truth. There's a quiet way you used to live, and I don't know what to do with it. People say time will settle this ache, but time just shows me what changed. Now it's a heart without you, trying to be like it used to do. Every day feels slightly off, like a song missing part of its tune. I smile when someone says your name, like it doesn't pull me into truth I carry every day is simple. It's a heart without you. I thought love meant we were certain, like something steady you could trust. But somewhere between the small silences, we slowly came undone. You stopped reaching for my hand first. I noticed, but I stayed quiet. I kept hoping if I loved you harder, something in you might find it. But love isn't something you can repair when only one person cares. Now it's so hard without you, trying to be like it used to do. Every room feels slightly wrong, like your shadow just left too soon. I laugh when someone asks about us, like it doesn't cut me in two. But the truth waiting underneath the surface, it's a heart without you. I don't blame you for walking away. Some feelings fade without a sound. I just wish I had known the moment we were already breaking down. Because I would've held that night longer, I would've listened more than I spoke. But you only see the ending clearly when it's already over. No, it's so hard without you, learning slowly what to do. Every memory still feels alive, even though we're through. And I'm trying to become someone who can finally face the truth. But tonight it's still the same old story, just a heart still beating without you. Used to talk like tomorrow mattered, like we had time we couldn't lose. Now every word between us feels careful, like borrowed truth. I hear the pauses in your breathing, the space before you answer me. It's not the silence that scares me, it's what that silence means. I keep pretending nothing's changing while watching you slip away. You're fading into the dark, right here beside me, close enough to touch, but already hard to reach. I keep saying your name, hoping something sparks, but love can't stay alive if it's fading into the dark. We still move through the same routines, like actors who forgot their lines. Two people trying to remember what it felt like when we were fine. I almost ask you if you're leaving, but I'm afraid to hear it said. Some truths feel heavier once they're out of your head. So we sit in the quiet between us, both knowing what we You're fading into the dark, right here beside me. Your hand in mine, but it doesn't feel the same. I keep searching your eyes for the light that used to start, but love loses its way when it's fading into the dark. Maybe this is how it happened. Not a storm, not a goodbye, just two hearts slowly drifting while pretending they still try. And the hardest thing to carry is the moment that I see you already let go before you let go of me. And now you're fading into the dark, and I can't stop it. No words last strong enough to turn you back. I still whisper your name like it might leave a mark, but love finally disappears when it's fading, quietly fading into the dark. You were always halfway leaving, even on the better days. I could feel it in the quiet, in the careful words you'd say. I kept telling myself not to notice, like love might grow if I believed. But some truth sit in your chest, even when you try not to see. I thought patience might hold us together, but patience can't make someone stay. You were love that never stayed, just a moment I couldn't hold, like warmth that slips through open hands before the night turns cold. I gave more than I should have, but hearts don't measure that way. Some people are only meant to be love that never stayed. There were nights you felt so certain, like the world had slowed for us, and I believed every second because I wanted to trust. But the distance always returned in the spaces after we spoke, like something fragile between us. There'd been a little more with hope, and I kept standing in the doorway while you were already on your way. You were love that never stayed, just a feeling passing through, like a light that touches the window, then disappears from view. I held on longer than I should, but letting go felt the same. Some people say it won't ache every time I hear your name, but tonight you're still the echo of a love that never stayed. That never stayed. The room feels different lately, like something important left. I keep thinking I hear your voice, then I remember the rest. I walk through the same small moments, but they don't land the same way. Every thought ends with your name, then slowly fades away. I told myself I'd be alright, but nights have a way of telling the truth. So here I am in the quiet night, trying not to fall apart. Every memory speaks too loud when the world finally gets dark. I thought time would make it easier, but some things don't rewrite. Some loves only show their way through tears in the quiet night. People ask if I'm doing better. I say what they expect, because explaining this kind of loss feels too heavy to accept. I still reach for words to tell you small things you would understand. Then the silence answers softly, there's no longer a we to stand. And the truth settles slowly when the daylight disappears. Now it's just me in the quiet night, trying to steady my heart. Every echo of what we were tears the silence apart. I thought love would leave gently, instead it holds on tight, and it finds me when no one sees, with tears in the quiet night. Maybe one day I'll say your name and it won't feel like a bruise. Maybe someday the memory won't feel like something I lose. But tonight every little reminder still cuts deeper than I admit, because some goodbyes don't end cleanly, they just leave you living with it. So here I am in the quiet night, learning how to breathe again, holding pieces of a life that won't come back the same. And the truth I can't outrun, no matter how hard I try, is that love still speaks long after goodbye, through tears in the quiet night. Through tears in the quiet night. It wasn't loud when it happened, no slammed doors, no sudden goodbye, just a pause in the middle of talking and a different look in I felt it before you said anything, like the air had quietly changed. Two people sitting so close, but nothing felt the same. Ooh, I think my heart understood first, before my mind could accept it. That was the moment we broke, right there between two small words. Something fragile gave way, and neither of us fought it. I wanted to ask you to stay, but the truth was already spoken. Some endings happen softly, like the moment we broke. Ooh, you kept your voice calm and careful, like you didn't wanna hurt me more. But kindness can still feel heavy when it closes a door. I nodded like I understood you, like I had somewhere to go. But the truth is I stayed there a long time after you let go. Some goodbyes don't need shouting, they arrive already decided. That was the moment we broke, the second love lost its place. Not anger, not blame, just a quiet change in your face. Ooh, I felt the future disappear before the words were fully spoken. Some hearts fall apart slowly until the moment they're broken. I replay the night more than I should, looking for something I missed, a sentence that might have saved us, a silence I should have fixed. But maybe nothing was waiting there, no hidden road back home. Maybe that was always the ending, we just hadn't been told. That was the moment we broke, and I'm still learning what that means. How life can turn so quickly between two breaths in a scene. I still hear the way you said my name right before the words were spoken. And sometimes it feels like my heart is still living inside the moment we broke. I still turn like you just called my name, even when the room is still. Funny how the mic keeps reaching for something it knows is gone. Your laugh shows up in small moments, in places I didn't expect. And for a second I almost believe you never really left. But silence has a way of telling the truth again. Now I'm alone with your memory, and it stays longer than you did. Every quiet hour reminds me of the life we almost lived. I keep saying I'm moving forward, like that's something I can't prove. But most nights I'm just here alone with the memory People think time makes it smaller, like the feeling slowly fades, but it only changes shape in the corners of my days. Sometimes it's just a passing thought, sometimes it fills the room. A voice inside my chest asking if you still think of me too. I never learned the right way to let something like you go. Now I'm alone with your memory, and it follows everywhere. In the quiet between heartbeats, I can almost feel you there. I pretend I've made my peace, like I've accepted losing you, but the truth is I'm still here, alone with the memory of you. Maybe one day I'll stop looking back at the life we almost knew. Maybe someday the thought of you won't feel this close to the truth. But tonight every little reminder still finds its way to me, and I realize how much of my heart you took quietly. Now I'm alone with your memory, and it's all that stayed behind. 1,000 small reminders, you still live inside my mind. And no matter how I try, some things you never move through. You just learn how to live alone with the memory of you. I remember the quiet before I understood it. The room was the same, but something inside it had moved. You still sat beside me, still said my name, the way you always did. But your voice felt like it was coming from somewhere far away. I didn't ask you about it, I was afraid of the answer. Some truths arrive softly, and once you hear them, you can't return to before. That was the night when love started leaving. Now with a fight, now we slam doors or broken words. Just a slow, quiet distance growing between our breaths. I reach for you the way I always had. Ooh, You smiled at the right moments, laughed when you should. Anyone watching would have believed we were still us, but I felt it in the spaces between sentences. The way silence stayed a little longer after we spoke. I try to hold the moment, still pretend nothing was changing. But love has a way of loosening its grip when it's tired. That was the night when love started leaving. fragile, we didn't realize we were dropping. And I kept standing there holding what was left while you slowly became a memory. I still hear your voice in ordinary moments. Still turn my head when a laugh sounds like yours. Maybe love doesn't vanish, maybe it just changes shape until the person who once held it no longer fits inside it. That was the night when love started leaving. The night I learned hearts can stay close while drifting miles apart. And I watched you go without moving, because some goodbyes don't happen all at once. They begin in silence long before anyone says the word. I've been thinking about the quiet that started near the end. Not the kind that feels peaceful, the kind that makes you listen for something that isn't there anymore. You still stood close to me, you still spoke my name, but something in your voice had already stepped away. I kept searching your face for the person I knew, as if love could return just because I noticed it leaving. I keep wondering where your love went, not why, just where. Did it fade slowly without telling you? Did it slip away in ordinary moments we didn't think mattered? Because one day it was here, alive between us, and the next I was standing alone inside the same story. I replay old conversations like they might explain something. Every pause, every small distance I tried not to see. Maybe love doesn't break, maybe it just loosens little by little, until the hands holding it no longer feel the weight. And I stay close even when I felt the shift, because letting go felt more frightening than losing you slowly. So I keep wondering where your love went, if it still exists somewhere beyond this silence. If there was a moment you knew it was gone before I did, or if it disappeared so gently that neither of us noticed until it was too late. I don't blame you. Hearts change direction without asking permission. I just wish mine had learned sooner how it.